Hey, the kids are back in school, the leaves are beginning to turn, the cool fronts are easing their way through the region, water temperatures are falling. Hey, welcome into fall and much better fishing around our region. This week we teach you how to put more bass on the end of your line. This, from Lake Athens, Texas, is Fox Sports Outdoors.
It's time now for your weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southwest region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors Southwest.
To lots of folks, when football season kicks off, it simply means football. But to those of us who are absolutely eaten up with the sport of fishing, it means much, much more than that. When football season kicks off, it signifies that fall is here, the water temperatures are dropping, the fish are moving shallow, they're feeding more heavily, and they're much easier to catch. And that spells great fishing for the next couple of months for you and me. Hey everybody, welcome into the show. We are going to take some time this week to fill you in on some of the principles that will help you put more bass on the end of your lure, in your boat, on your dock for the upcoming couple of months, fall and even early winter seasons around our region. To help us do that, I've come to one of my favorite little lakes here. This is in deep East Texas, just outside the city of Athens, Texas. This is Lake Athens. We are going to use Lake Athens as our demonstration tank to show you some of the techniques that will work to help you catch more bass in these cooler and even colder upcoming fall and early winter days. While we're doing that, you get the privilege of going around your local region for your very latest fishing and lake reports from our expert team of insider reporters who will tell you how to catch them on your favorite lakes, rivers, and bays. The next half hour is going to be a lot of fun. Hang in there with us and let's get the Nitro Z8 launched into the lake. Let's get you started back at the FSN studios with your weekend planner.
The Salooner tables are forecasting the best morning hours for game fish activity, tapping at 6:21 on Saturday and 7:10 on Sunday. Look for sunrise to take place on Saturday at 7:45 in the morning, with sunset happening at 6:36 p.m. And don't forget that daylight savings time ends on Sunday, so sunrise and sunset will both take place about an hour earlier. We'll be right back with all of the current fishing reports from around the area. And I'll return with professional angler Keith Combs with some advice on what type of line to use with a crankbait. But first, here's a peek at some photos from the Costa Catch of the Week contest. These contestants did not win, but we still thought you might want to enjoy some of these nice catches.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Exide AGM Marine Batteries. Starts like new, stays like new longer. By Gene LaRue and Bobby Garland Lures. With our baits, a good day of fishing is in the bag. By Motor Guide, trolling motors engineered for anglers. And by Nitro Performance Fishing Boats. Welcome to the big leagues.
Oh, he got it. Man, what a blow up. Nice jump. Looks like a good bass to start off. All right, hey, glad to have you along, everybody. This is Fox Sports Outdoors. We've made it out on the water, and the first bite of the day has happened right here. All right, there's an old dark colored bass. We're at Lake Athens, as I mentioned, which is right in the middle of deep East Texas. It's a beautiful little lake. Water temperatures are dropping. In fact, they're falling pretty quickly with these little cool fronts that have been making it through both the south and southwest parts of our region. What that does is it brings the fish up shallower from where they've been all summer. Where have they been all summer? They've been deeper. But when these first cool fronts of fall start to move through, they instinctively want to go feed up. So what they'll do is push up into shallow water anywhere from 8 to 12 feet deep for the most part, and they'll start chasing bait fish. They're feeding up on shad, crawfish, minnows, snakes, frogs, anything else that's swimming along. And what that means is the fish get much more active, and you can catch them on baits that you couldn't catch them on in the summertime. Now we can fish quicker moving baits, and this is one of them. That is a topwater bait that walks back and forth. So what you do is throw it out there, twitch your rod tip, and make it go back and forth, back and forth. But that sets you up for the general pattern of what's happening in the fall. And this is going to continue all the way until the water really starts getting cold, say 50 degrees or below. Hey, let's start you off with some fishing and lake reports from your local area. Let's go to Cajun Phil and Kevin in Louisiana.
Hi friends, Cajun Phil here with your Fox, Louisiana Fishing Report. I tell you what, it's been hot and heavy for the past 2 weeks here at the Cajun Paradise Lodge and Charters. As you can see, all the people out here, they're having a great time. We're getting groups of 6, 8, 10, 12 people. Each and every day they're coming in here, they're catching speckled trout, they're catching redfish. They're already starting to catch a few flounder. Matter of fact, today they came in, I think they had 6 or 8 flounder per boat. They had nice catches of limits of redfish, lots of speckled trout. We've been catching lots of limited trout, friends. Right now the birds are working. What happened is we got a couple of cold fronts come through, pushing all the shrimp out of the marsh. When the shrimp come out of the marsh, them birds start working, they pop in the shrimp, speckled trout pushing the shrimp to the top. Right now there's so many schools of speckled trout and redfish mixed in the lake. It's hard to say, I'm just going to go out and catch speckled trout, or I'm just going to go out and catch redfish, because right now the schools are mixed up. You're going to catch 2 or 3 trout, 6 or 7 redfish, 2 or 3 trout. And you know what, it's not just here on Calcasieu Lake. I talked to Sweetwater Marina, Jack down there. He says he's limiting out with trout each and every day. Captain Bill Lake, he said if you want to go after trout, fine. If you want to go after redfish, fine. They just made a great trip this morning at Houma, Louisiana. It's actually Dulac and Dularge is where their actually camp is located. They're catching all their redfish on spoons in shallow water. They're catching their trout by the rigs right offshore. Speaking of rigs right offshore, tell you what, Venice, Louisiana is on fire as far as tuna fish go, as far as amberjack go. Right now, Josh Howard, Captain Josh Howard, he's catching tuna each and every day.
Boom! Goodness, he hammered it. Decent fish. Nice blow up on a topwater right there. Whoa, whoa, stop. Oh, he's got a good mouthful of it too, so I can just swing him aboard like that. Fox Sports Outdoors today, my favorite time of the year for that reason, fall. Man, you can catch them on a topwater in the fall. All right, just a long, skinny, dark colored fish living in a grass bed. Show you that fish, what he looks like there. No monster or anything like that, but back he goes. We're coming out of the summer, a time of the year when these fish, these bass, have been out on deep ledges and humps, road beds, structure, deep places on the floor of the lake that have uneven contours is where they've been. Now they've migrated up into shallower water where there's not so much structure, there's cover. What is cover? Cover is anything that a bass can get around, hug up next to, relate to, hide behind so that he can ambush prey. So in this case, that could be a grass bed. These are big hydrilla and weed beds all over this lake. These fish use it like a magnet. They just pull up into it, migrate into it. It can be stumps, it can be brush, it can be rocks, it can be docks, but cover is critical. They've got to get under or around something to ambush their prey in the fall up in that shallow water. Let's get you some more fishing and lake reports.
Hi folks, and welcome to this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by Bushnell, a leader in sports optics for more than 65 years. Now this week we're at Power Plant Lake Monticello in East Texas, the last of our tri-lakes. And we've come here because as things start to cool off and water temperatures start to drop, bass and other fish species will become less active, except on lakes like Monticello, which have a power plant and therefore discharge warm water. You can regulate the water temperature, by simply watching your electronics as you travel around the lake. Go to the hot water discharge, you'll find the warmest water. If it's a little too hot, you can move back out until you find cooler water. Basically, you can find exactly the temperature you want on Monticello, and then fish your active baits, your spinner baits, your Cincos, your rattle traps, and that'll get you some bass. Now, down on Choke Canyon, fish the grass to catch your bass. Again, spinner baits, Cincos, rattle traps, all great baits for the fall. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by a leader in sports optics for over 65 years, Bushnell. Now let's check in with Mr. Bill Olson. He's on the coast.
Hi folks, Texas Outdoors Journal brings you this week's report, and our November issue is now on sale on newsstands with articles on free-ranging exotics, whitetails, and waterfowl, plus late fall fishing tips for coastal and freshwater anglers. We'll tell you where to go, what to expect once you get there, and how to do it a little bit better. Pick up a copy of Texas Outdoors Journal on newsstands or subscribe at texasoutdoorsjournal.com or call 1-800-222-4TOJ. Well, checking the weather forecast for Sabine, Port Aransas, and Port Isabel, it seems we're in a period of warmer than normal temperatures. A lack of strong north winds associated with the cold fronts has bait and redfish still stacked in the marshes on the upper end of the coast. Now, trout continue to come from deeper depths in Trinity, Galveston, and around mid-bay reefs on Matagorda for those drifting live bait or fishing soft plastics. Around Chocolate and Bass Drop Bays, redfish and black drum activity has increased. Along the beachfront, bull reds continue to keep anglers busy out of Freeport. Anglers fishing out of Port O'Connor have caught fish in the back lakes, around grass beds, and on shell. And don't forget, on light wind days to fish the surf, there's still fish out there to be caught. Redfish larvae showed up in recent samplings out of Cedar Bayou. Look for fishing either side of this reopened pass to continue to improve. Now, behind St. Joe Island, anglers have been catching redfish and trout around the mouths of back lake drains. Estes Flats, Mud Island, East Flats, Shamrock Cove, Packery Flats, and the Boat Hole have seen sporadic activity for both trout and reds. Anglers waiting at Port Mansfield and Port Isabel on the lower coast continue to find better fish in slightly deeper water. Live bait or soft plastics under a rattling float have been best. Mexiquita Flats has been on and off for redfish and trout. South Bay continues to hold trout, red, snook, and mangrove snapper. This weekend, both Saturday and Sunday have a double tide schedule of 2 high and 2 low tides each day. I'm Bill Olson, and I'll see you on the coast.
There's one. Coming up, coming up. Nice jump. What an acrobat. Not that big, but boy, he is strong. There he comes. All right. All right, there's a bass for you right there. Hey, now the sun's popped out big time. Everything has changed. And next I'm going to give you the secrets on how to catch them under these conditions. We've got a high bluebird sky in the fall, water cooling like it is. Look how dark that bass is. What a gorgeous fish. And back he goes. Go back.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. By Mercury Marine, celebrating 75 years of marine excellence. By Strin Fishing Lines, the standard of dependability. By Tracker Boats, it's more than just a boat, it's a tracker. And by Whataburger. Get your day started at Whataburger with the new jalapeno cheddar biscuit.
There's one, got it. That's a fish. Look at this. Good night. That's a good fish right there. I didn't even know I had a fish there for a second. He just swam up behind my lipless bait and sucked it in, and I really didn't even feel him hit it. Look at this. Good one. Got him. Look at that. Wow. Oh, man. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Fox Sports Outdoors today travels to deep East Texas. This is Lake Athens, and we're talking about how to catch bass in the fall time. And look at this, little bitty crankbait, little lipless rattling crankbait. That's a Strike King Red Eye Shad. There we go, we got it out. All right, there's your good bass right there. That's a good 8-pound class fish right here. Let's get him back in the water before he suffers any oxygen. All right, hey, let's talk a little bit about speed just for a second, about the way you want to approach fall, cooler water fishing. Whereas in the summer, I'm using soft plastics and grubs and drop shots, and I'm fishing real slow and methodically and keeping the boat real still. Now I actually put the trolling motor down, cover a lot of water, just make a lot of casts and speed up that presentation. Again, that's a little lipless rattling crankbait that just covers a lot of water and moves quickly through the water column. That's the way you can fish and cover a lot of water and catch more fish, get more bites in the fall. Now, if you're limited to the shore, don't have a boat, you do the same thing. You just get your walking shoes on and get to traveling down the shoreline, cover a lot of water, bang the shoreline. Easy, easy fishing in the fall when they're this active, and you can just cast and reel it back in, catch a good one like that. Hey, let's get you some more fishing and lake reports right now from your local area.
Hey, when we get to this time of year, it's often more difficult to figure out how you're going to dress for an outing, whether you're in short sleeves or a heavy coat, than it is figuring out what you're going to actually do to catch fish on that given day. Now, as we head into November here in Oklahoma, the crappie fishing is really heating up. Good reports coming in from many places across the state. 3 very distinctive techniques are working right now. One is fishing the laydowns, and they're doing that off areas that are in front of the vertical type water, a little bit more vertical depth close to the bank, such as in front of a bluff or the transition next to a bluff. That allows you to fish a lot of areas, a lot of depths without having to move a lot. Another way is around the boat docks. The boat docks are really good right now. You can catch fish by dock shooting those jigs up under the protected areas into the shade, and you can also catch them on the brush piles around the docks. Now, the brush pile depth right now seems to be best around the 12 to 15 foot range. Spend a little time working your jig in and around the cover, trying to determine whether they're down deep into it or up near the top. Figure that out, you're going to catch a lot of fish. The third way is fishing the transitional areas. A lot of that going on too. Good reports coming in the 18 to 22 foot depth along the break lines near the creek channels. Now, when they're at this depth, the best rig to use is either a single or double jig rig that allows you to put those baits down there and actually feel your way down that stair step along the break line and catch those fish doing that. You can also use, borrowing from the bass fishing world, a drop shot rig where you have a very small sinker tied to the bottom of your line and then a smaller jig head and your Bobby Garland baby shads rigged on that allows you to again control the depth in a hurry that you're getting that bait down to, but catch those fish using a smaller profile bait. Great time of year to be crappie fishing in Oklahoma, but one thing about it, you can't catch them if you don't go.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Costa Sunglasses. See what's out there. By Luz, setting a new standard in fishing performance. Feel the difference. By Strike King Lures, #1 in fishing. By Lowrance Electronics. Find, navigate, dominate. By Fort Worth Nissan. Fox Sports Outdoors is powered by Fort Worth Nissan.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for the Whataburger Ask the Pro. This week's question is from Fred, who asked, which line is best for crankbaits, mono, fluorocarbon, or braid? We asked Texas Bass Classic champion Keith Combs for the answer.
You know, monofilament is something that I use for years in all my crankbait fishing, but I've definitely got away from it. You know, just the fact that I'm a lot more sensitive and fluorocarbon is a lot more abrasion resistant are the two things that led me to get away from monofilament. In certain circumstances around extremely big fish and heavy cover, I will use braid. The problem with braid is you get absolutely no stretch. So if that big fish jumps and shakes his head just wrong, it's really easy to lose him. The best all-around line for me is a 15-pound fluorocarbon.
Thank you, Keith. If you have a question for one of the anglers, visit our website, follow the Ask the Pro link on the right side of the page, and let us know. Now let's see which viewer wins the Costa Catch of the Week.
This week's winner in the Costa Catch of the Week contest comes to us from South Texas. He is Benny Gonzalez of Bastrop, Texas, and he's showing off a giant 10-pound largemouth bass he caught at the lake at Bisher State Park, which is located just south and east of Bastrop, Texas. And Benny wins his choice of any pair of Costa sunglasses. And if you'd like to enter the contest and have that same chance, go to our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com Follow the instructions. You might be our next winner. And you can see all of the Costa frame and lens styles at the Costa website. Go back to the front page of our website, click on the Costa logo, and see them all there, including the cool white frames and the sunglasses I was wearing on this week's episode called Switchfoot. And here's a little added bonus, another big bass from the same state park. This is Lawrence Ladd with a 21-inch bass from Bisher State Park. He's not a winner this week, but a great bass nonetheless. On the Academy Sports and Outdoors Right Stuff feature this week, it's the right gear to catch fall bass. And here are the baits that we caught bass on and that you can catch them on at your favorite lake. Beginning on the top left is the Strike King Sexy Dog topwater bait that we caught them on early this morning. Below that, two different sizes of the Strike King Red Eye Shad lipless rattling crankbait. That's the medium size and the smallest size. And then top right is the Strike King Tour Grade spinnerbait. I always love that white nickel willow leaf combination imitating a shad around these grass beds. One more piece of gear that I always rely on when I'm fishing, but especially when I'm fishing grass beds in the fall like today, the Lowrance HDS system. It combines a GPS chart plotter technology with the sonar unit and the structure scan, so you can really do everything in one unit. And you can see these shots. These were the grass beds like we were fishing. You can see them clumped up off the bottom. When you find those, you usually find bass. And then you fish the visible cover like the hydrilla beds, the pondweed, the duckweed, all the visible grass that we fished as well today. One of my early snapshot memories from my childhood is my granddad driving me around in his pickup and pointing to a steam generating plant. He looked at the vapor coming out of that smokestack and compared it to a verse in the Bible. It comes from the book of James, and it says, "Our life is short like a vapor. It appears for a while and then vanishes away." My takeaway point from all of that is this: life races by. You look up one day, your kids are gone, and you're much older than you thought you were. The thing I take away from that is to live each day to the fullest, enjoy life, and make each day count. Slow down just a little bit, because you and I won't be here forever. Hey, don't forget to join us next week on the show. We'll be on Thursday at 10:30 p.m. with the repeat airing Saturday morning at 7:30. And don't forget that the latest episode of our show is always up 24 hours a day in full HD on the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Below that, click in the More Episodes and Video Here area to get lots of archived videos, all of our past shows, and much more. And don't forget to get all of the latest fishing news, videos, and photos on our Twitter feed, and our Facebook page has lots of that same kind of information. You can look us up at the Facebook address you see on your screen. From deep East Texas, until next week, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.